Welcome to the EPL and UCL Talks. This week we are doing a deep dive into a result that didn't just rattle the Champions League. It might have structurally redefined two massive European clubs. We are talking, of course, about Chelsea's absolutely dominant 3-0 victory over Barcelona. And this wasn't just a tough loss. I mean, this was a clinic that announced a generational superstar and at the same time exposed some serious rot in a European giant.
It was a brutal night for Barcelona and just a glorious one for Chelsea. Our mission here is clear. We're going to unpack the core narratives. How exactly did Chelsea pull off this tactical masterclass? What did the stats really tell us about the rise of this 18-year-old Estêvão? And maybe most critically, what does this result confirm about the difference between the winner mentality Chelsea is building versus the startling defensive decline we're seeing at Camp Nou?
Okay, let's just jump right into the sheer shock of that scoreline. 3-0. This is Chelsea's biggest ever margin of victory against Barcelona in the Champions League. Ever.
Right. But the score barely tells the story of that first half. It was just chaos.
It really was. I mean, before a ball even legally hit the back of the net, it was frantic. Chelsea had Enzo Fernandez scoring twice, both disallowed.
One for handball, one for offside, yeah.
And in the middle of all that, Ferran Torres misses an absolute point-blank sitter for Barcelona. It was like high-stakes volleyball for 25 minutes.
Exhausting just watching it. But what really stands out is that when the first legal goal finally came, it was totally self-inflicted. It was a short corner routine, and the ball deflects off Jules Koundé for an own goal.
And you have to pause on that for a second.
You do, because that is Barcelona's 10th Champions League own goal.
Yeah.
That officially makes them the club with the most in the entire competition's history. That's not just a momentary lapse.
No.
That's evidence of ongoing systemic panic in their own box whenever they're under pressure.
Systemic panic is the perfect phrase for it, and it just got worse. Minutes later, their captain, Ronald Araujo, gets booked for dissent right after the goal. And then, only 12 minutes after that booking, he commits this wild, completely mistimed lunge on Marc Cucurella.
Which leads to the inevitable second yellow. He's off.
So Barcelona are down to 10 men before halftime.
And that stat is incredible. Barcelona became only the third side in UCL history to score an own goal and get a red card in the first half. But here's the key analytical point that you have to stress. A lot of pundits are viewing that red card not as the cause of the loss, but really as a symptom of a much deeper problem.
Wait, hold on. I get the structural analysis, but surely losing your captain, your defensive leader, Araujo, at 1-0 right before halftime, isn't that the moment the game is just functionally over?
That's a fair question, but the analysis is pretty insistent on this point. The argument is that Chelsea's intensity was already so overwhelming, even before the red card, that they were, and I'm quoting here, already dominating the game.
So the red card just poured fuel on a fire that was already burning.
Exactly. Just accelerated a defeat that was probably already coming. The defensive breakdowns, the loss of composure. I mean, Araujo's first booking was for dissent. That suggests the team was already mentally overwhelmed by Chelsea's pace.
So the real structural issue wasn't being a man down. It was the lack of mental resilience that led to both the own goal and the stupid foul in the first place.
Leslie.
Okay, so if that red card just sped up the inevitable, we have to look at what Chelsea's manager did to make it inevitable. What was the tactical plan here?
The plan was beautiful in its simplicity. Deny Barcelona comfort. The manager's insight was that Barcelona only feel comfortable when they have the ball.
Right.
When they can dictate terms.
Right.
So the entire game plan was built around denying them that through a relentless high press and just suffocating intensity, it was a calculated risk, and it paid off massively.
And the results of that strategy are, I mean, they're stunning. Chelsea became the first team to stop Barcelona from scoring in 53 matches. 53.
53.
Yeah.
That's not just a statistic. That validates the entire defensive restructuring we've seen from them, which is also showing up in the Premier League with all the clean sheets they're getting now. It was a huge defensive statement.
A comprehensive one.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just a generic high press. The management made some really key tactical tweaks, like moving Pedroto into that attacking number 9 role, which just created all sorts of spatial problems for Barca's center backs.
And what about the individual battle between Cucurella and Lamine Yamal?
That was the defining defensive micro-battle of the entire night.
Yamal is a sensation, but Cucurella just completely neutralized him. How?
Well, Cucurella actually explained the exact instruction he was given after the match. It was fascinating. He said he intentionally showed the left-footed Yamal onto his right side, which he correctly called the winger's worst foot.
Yeah.
And at the same time, He trusted his teammates, the center back specifically, to cover that inside channel.
Wow, so the plan wasn't just press high, it was force the generational talent onto his weak foot and we'll cover the angle.
That level of preparation, that trust in the system, that's the difference between a good plan and a masterclass.
That detail is incredible. And you contrast that with what Barcelona's manager, Hansi Flick, said. He was lamenting that his own players were losing too many easy balls. Not even under pressure, just bad passes.
Exactly. Compounding their own problems with technical sloppiness. And that sloppiness just exposed their aggressive, high defensive line. Analysts saw Barcelona was squeezing the line in a very poor manner.
What does that mean exactly?
They were trying to play offside, but they weren't doing it together. The timing was all off, the angles were wrong, and that made it ridiculously easy for Chelsea to just hit first-time balls in behind them.
Into all that space they were leaving.
All that poorly managed space. For a high line to work, the timing has to be perfect. Barcelona's was just fragmented. The intensity Chelsea brought was simply too quick a pace for their midfield. For Jiang, for Fermin Lopez to control anything.
The midfield just lost the fight.
Completely.
Okay, speaking of brilliance, we have to talk about the moment that really cemented this match in history. Because you can have tactical dominance, but you still need those moments of individual genius. Let's talk about 18-year-old Estêvão.
10 minutes into the second half.
Yeah.
He delivered a goal that was pure cinema. He gets the ball, uses his pace and balance to just dance past Pau Cubarsí.
Who's a great young defender
Like
himself.
a very highly rated defender. And then he just slams the ball viciously into the net.
With his right foot. He's left-footed.
That shows just incredible versatility and coolness under pressure.
I mean, the finish was sensational, but the statistic that immediately came out puts this goal into a whole other context. Estêvão, at 18 years and 215 days old, is now only the third teenager in history to score in each of his first 3 Champions League starts.
And the other 2 names.
Kylian Mbappe and Erling Haaland.
That is just, it's jaw-dropping company. When you match that kind of consistency, that prolific start with the 2 biggest strikers in the world on the biggest stage, you're not a prospect anymore. You are a validated elite talent.
Absolutely, and the praise reflects that. South American football expert Tim Vickery called him the most talented player to come out of Brazil since Neymar, but he noted a really crucial difference. He highlighted Estevão's stability and having less of the baggage that can sometimes follow these massive Brazilian talents.
And that point about stability is key. His old coach at Palma said he was different from anything I've ever seen. It suggests he combines that immense natural talent with a professional maturity that's just way beyond his years.
Which you love to see. And the reason he even chose Chelsea reinforces this idea of control over his own development. His agent said the deciding factor wasn't just money, it was the tactical role.
Right. Chelsea was the club most open to seeing him as a number 10.
They gave him that freedom to roam, to dictate play, instead of just sticking him out on the wing like some other clubs wanted to.
And it paid off for them instantly. It showed immense foresight from their whole scouting and coaching setup.
And then, of course, just to cap off a perfect night, Liam Delap seals the 3-0 victory with his first ever Champions League goal. Just a night of milestones.
So now shifting focus a bit, the manager sees this win as way more than just a famous result. For him, it's a vital, essential step in building what he calls a winner mentality.
What exactly does he mean by that? Is it just attitude, or is it about proven success?
It's all about proven success. He was very clear on this. He said, you cannot build winner mentality without winning games. He pointed to their Conference League success, and he said this was very important, their Club World Cup victory as these crucial, tangible building blocks.
So those prior wins, even in smaller competitions, they build the confidence needed to handle a night like this against a giant like Barcelona.
It's a methodical accumulation of success. It's proving to yourselves that the process works.
That makes perfect sense. You need evidence you can win before you believe you can win the biggest things. And despite the euphoria of it all, the manager immediately stressed the need to think about their next match against Arsenal. No time to celebrate.
Which is crucial, because analysts are calling that weekend match the acid test. They're saying a much better version of Chelsea needs to show up. They dominated Barcelona with intensity, sure, but they have to dominate with discipline against Arsenal.
And avoid those early mistakes, like the gaps that let Ferran Torres get that chance.
Exactly. A more clinical team punishes that. The challenge now is maintaining that intensity, but consistently.
You know, that brings us to a really fascinating point about modern football management. You have Cucurella after the game detailing exactly how he shut down Yalal. You have the manager explaining his entire possession denial strategy. They basically laid their winning game plan bare for the whole world.
And it raises a critical question. Was that transparency a smart move? On one hand, it builds huge confidence in the squad. It validates the manager's methods. But on the other,
You've given future opponents a roadmap.
have you given away too much? By revealing such detailed, effective weapons like the specific instruction to show Yalal onto his weak foot, did you sacrifice tactical secrecy for a quick bit of public validation? It's a risk.
It's a big risk. So, to sum it all up, what does this all mean? We've covered the stunning ascent of Estêvão into the company of Mbappe and Haaland, the surgical precision of Chelsea's tactics, and this deep, ongoing crisis at Barcelona.
This victory didn't just get them 3 points. It validated their entire long-term project. But the biggest question that's left hanging is this. Was the manager right to immediately expose his detailed game plan to the world for a quick morale boost? Or should they have kept those winning tactical secrets close to their chest? It's something for you to ponder as they head into that acid test against Arsenal.
That high press definitely gives us something to think about. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive. Go forth, keep learning, and may your pursuit of knowledge be as relentless as Chelsea's high press. Until next time, we wish you continued success in all your endeavors.